We took off last week for an 11-hour journey towards Kentucky, and we had the excursion hooked up to the camper, and we were set to go. And we got about a half hour down the road, and I could just tell Tom was super uneasy.
I don't know why I thought, you know what, let's trust this thing again.
So we decided to turn around, go back home, hook up Tom's truck to the camper. And so we got back on the road, and I looked over at him, I'm like, so what really was it that made it so that you wanted to go back and switch trucks?
I remembered that every single time we drive that thing somewhere with a camper on it, that it costs us a fortune.
So I'm reading this book right now, I'm listening to it, it's called Storyworthy, and it's talking about like how you tell stories. And one of, like, right towards the beginning of the book, one of his principles when it comes to telling stories is don't tell vacation stories. The reason he said is because normally people can't relate, like you've gone off to some location that they've never been to, and usually it's just a recount of what happened on your vacation and nothing that awesome usually happens. Like you thought it was cool when you were there. And so what's gonna follow right now is a very boring vacation story because, I think mostly because we didn't take the excursion.
Did you really say boring?
I just want to warn you all.
We still broke down.
Well, kinda.
Ish.
All right. So before we left for vacation, we went back and forth. Should we take the excursion? Should we take Tom's truck?
Yeah.
Down the road, if we add any more people to our family, Tom's truck won't work. It seats 6. Yeah. But for this vacation, we kind of went back and forth. And why didn't you want to take your truck?
Well, because there would be a child between us, so
that was
it's
one reason.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I like my space. And then it's been doing this thing where it's been dropping coil packs, so it's been misfiring. And so, I mean, it's not, first off, there's nothing wrong with a Ford truck.
We don't have to get into that debate.
You all correct yourselves. Yeah. I don't want to hear about it. I'll delete you out of the comments. So they just wear out, and so it had been randomly doing that, and I was like, I would rather just not have to deal with it than fix them all right now. It's easy fix.
Right.
So that was my
concern.
Yep.
And that concern came true because
Absolutely.
We got to like the same exit where we had turned around to come back and switch vehicles, and that started happening.
Yeah.
So we went a little further. I was looking at part stores. We got to a parts store.
Mm-hmm. All right, you want to time me? See how fast I can do this?
Would putting that stress on you make this more
all
fun?
Right, somebody pull my phone and look at the clock.
I got it, 12:58.
All right.
All right.
I have a stopwatch.
Maggie has a stopwatch.
And it would have been faster, except that engine was hot.
Yeah.
Like that L engine bay was very hot.
It was 32 minutes and 43 seconds.
Seriously, that's it?
32 minutes. For what did you do in that time?
Spark plugs and coil packs.
There you go.
On all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, first.
Good work.
Thanks. Hopefully that's the end of our issues.
Right. So we had left Sunday morning. Our goal was to leave at 8 o'clock in the morning. We knew we had an 11-hour drive ahead of us on Sunday, and we had to take Gage in for a strep test. Like, we didn't know, he was not feeling that great, and I'm like, I don't want to go on vacation with him having strep throat. Luckily it was negative. So we didn't leave until I think it was almost 11 o'clock anyways. Decided to switch out the excursion.
Yeah, so that was a couple-hour deal of switching around and then swapping everything from the excursion to the truck.
Yep. And then the 32-minute parts run change.
Yeah.
So I think by the time we were actually leaving Minnesota, it was like 2 o'clock. But I mean, fortunately, after Tom changed the coil packs and the spark plugs, we didn't.
No problemo.
No problems. So we had booked a campsite in Indiana
somewhere, I don't remember where.
A KOA. It was very nice, but we didn't pull in there till
11.
Yeah. So it was just a quick set up the camper to sleep in it.
I didn't even unhook it.
Yep. It actually was a really nice campground though. In the morning when we could like see it, I was like, oh, this is nice. Good to see it, Indiana. And then we headed out because our destination was Georgetown, Kentucky.
Yep.
And our goal was to be there by 1 o'clock when we could check in. Mm-hmm. And so again, we got packed up, we hit the road, and I don't know, did anything. Like, it was just, I was like, no. This feels like a normal vacation, right? We drove to our campground, mm-hmm. We checked in. Like right when we drove in, you could see the pool, and the kids were like, can we go swimming? And so we got set up, and it was a really cool spot. It like backed up to this little pond. I don't know that you called a lake. It was a pond.
People were fishing in it. I don't know that anyone caught anything. Yeah. I don't think there was fish in it.
And so we were off to a really good start, and we got to meet up with Mary Beth from At What Cost and her family, and they got there a little later, and I don't know, we just hung out.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We ate good food.
The entire time we just hung out and ate food.
And so one of the reasons we headed to that area was we knew we wanted to go to the Ark Encounter, which is the real life, full-size Noah's Ark. And I know we don't all share the same faith beliefs, but I think anytime you can go to something that is like an icon of your faith, we were really excited about it. We'd heard really good things about it. It just opened in July of 2016, so it hasn't been open that long. I had wanted to go through it on our way back from Florida, but with all the...
We had other issues at that time.
It was like, we just need to get home. So I was glad we could make this trip and really spend some time at it.
So right now, 2021, there's 3.1 million board feet of lumber in the Ark, like in the building of it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what that would cost to build right now?
Oh yeah, with lumber prices.
I don't know what it cost to build then.
I know, many millions.
I'm sure.
It's actually the largest timber frame building in the world too. So just looking at the structure of it,
It's wild.
it was really cool. And the timbers all came from renewable forests, and they were actually trees that had been killed by a beetle infestation. So they were all trees that had died or were dying, and so that's what they used. But it's cool, in the very middle you can look up and like see the full lengths of the timbers that were used. So that was really cool. And I think what was especially neat about it was it just answered some of the questions of like, what did they do with the animal waste, and how were the animals stored in it, and how did they feed and water them? And
The other thing too that we didn't even think about was they had to bring dirt so they could grow plants and vegetables to eat. And I was like, I would have never thought that you needed to bring dirt.
yeah, so you have to see kind of like, well, where would Noah and his family have slept? And
So do you think they were minimalists on the Ark?
I do think they were
They
minimalists
kind of
on
had
here.
to be, right?
They had to
couldn't
pack
bring
pretty
anything
light,
unless
right?
it was needed.
It was really neat, and I think it just really brought it to life for all of us, that aspect of you hear the story in the Bible, but then to actually like see it and be walking through was really cool.
Maggie just informed me that this is a loom.
Yeah.
And that you threw it away.
I might have gotten rid of their looms. Yep.
It may not have been this large.
Were you still using them? Okay, thank you very much. And so I think another thing that we're learning on vacation is, we've said before, like, stay at one campground for a longer period of time. So we had planned on staying at that same campground the whole time. So the next day we were kind of like, let's just hang out here and enjoy the campground, go swimming, and not always have to be
Going.
on the go. And so that was really nice. So we just spent some time hanging out. They had lots of stuff for the kids to do there. The pool was great. And then the next day we also wanted to check out, it was supposed to be a rain day, so we were like, well, we could go check out the Creation Museum, which is just outside of Cincinnati. So that was about an hour from where we were. And so I actually thought the Creation Museum was cooler than the Ark. I do think the boys were a little bit young for it. So our boys are 6 and 8, the girls are 10 and 11. I think the girls could appreciate it a little bit more than the boys, but...
I mean, it's a museum. It's more literature and videos.
Yes, and there was lots of interactive stuff too throughout it. I thought, like, as an adult, I thought it was super cool, and I hope we can go back again. Probably the thing that the kids all really liked the most was the 4D theater.
Yeah.
So it's 3D, like what you're seeing, but then you can like feel wind blowing and your seats move and stuff.
That was their first experience with something like that.
Yeah, so it went through the 6 days of creation and showed like what was created each day, and I thought that was like really cool. So I think we'd definitely recommend checking that out too if you're ever
Yeah,
in
if your
the
kids
area.
are older.
Yeah, if they're a little bit older, I think then it'd be a good stop. So, and we got to run into some friends that recognized us at both the Ark and the museum. That was super fun.
Even at the campground.
Yeah, that was super cool. If you ever see us out in public, please come say hi to us because I'm gonna cry. It made my day. So.
Yep.
And I would pack your own food for both of them. They have places to eat, but even a lot of like the lines were long and it was kind of busy. So.
Do you need a minute?
No, I'm good now. So I think in hindsight, the only thing we would have done differently is we would have got to the Ark encounter earlier in the day because we ended up standing in line for like an hour.
Oh yeah,
and it was hot out.
It was very humid.
And then packing, I would have packed lunches or food so that we didn't have to eat inside there. But it was fine. It was reasonable and good. But that would be the only thing I would recommend if you're going to go check it out. And then we got to drive home without anything
Non-stop.
wrong. And so I think it actually felt like a really like relaxing and maybe
Don't
there
ever
was
drive through Chicago.
a little like so for us to get back to Minnesota, it's like a horse apiece whether you go through Chicago or you go through Iowa. For whatever reason, the GPS was only taking us through Chicago, showing that as quicker. Normally I would avoid it, but I was like, I actually would rather drive home through Wisconsin.
Dawn wanted to change the scenery.
We've done the Iowa route quite a few times now. Recently, we love you, Iowa, but there's not as much to look at, and I think Wisconsin's really pretty this time of year. So I was like, it's a Saturday midday?
Yeah,
I'm like, we can do Chicago? What's the big deal?
I'm in the passenger seat.
Yeah. So we definitely hit traffic. Well, and it cost like $30 because we had a camper.
It cost more than that to get. I think it was $45 to get through Chicago, and I ran 4 tolls.
Yeah, we'll get that in the mail.
We'll get those in the mail. They were actually closed. I couldn't pay. They said to pay online. So.
Yeah. So we definitely hit traffic, got stuck in traffic, which it is. That's what it's always like that. We should have known better. And then Gage threw up. I think it was from the like stopping and going.
And so Gage puked all over the truck.
Yeah. And then we got through Chicago and we got everything cleaned up. And then we got to enjoy the scenery of Wisconsin the rest of the way home.
Yep. And then we got home and unloaded the camper. Tom went to back it into the shed. And I may have smacked the awning of the camper on the frame of the door. That was a big bummer.
Yeah. What can you do?
Yeah.
Tom gets really frustrated with himself over things like that. I'm like, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also the camper. So this was our first long trip with this camper. Mm-hmm. It towed well. Mm-hmm. It worked really well with the kids. Mm-hmm. They didn't mind the bunks.
Indoor-outdoor fridges worked well.
Yeah, but otherwise, I think it functioned well. We felt like it was a good size. We actually, at one point, were parked. There was a camper, like our first camper.
Yeah, right next to us.
Right next to us. And it was so crazy when I was looking at it. I was like, wow, it's only been a year and a half since we owned that first camper. We've had 3 campers now. But I remember when we bought that first camper, the reason we were trying to go older, lighter, was we just didn't know. Is camping going to be a part of our lifestyle? Is Tom going to like it? And so I think it was kind of fun to look at me like, oh yeah, no, we're all in now. I think we both see this. And we added it up. I think we've already camped like 6 weeks this year. Yep. So I feel like, yeah, it's definitely a part of our lifestyle. It's something we want to definitely do more of. And so I think it's been a good investment, but it was just kind of funny to see like how far we've come in a year and a half. So,
yep.
So that's our really boring travel story, vacation story. I think we both would be totally okay having completely boring stories moving forward.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you guys don't even want to hear about them.
Yeah, that you're just like, happened. Another vacation video. Oh, I know. We have to give a puppy update.
Oh,
so
they're gone.
Stop it. All right, we have not done a good job with puppy updates, but they are doing really well. The girls have been doing awesome taking care of them. And it's hard to believe they are 7 months old now. So this is Maisie, the chocolate lab, and Mac, the black lab. Mac is just super chill, loves to be petted. He'll just sit here and just roll over and just wait for you to pet him. Maisie's a little more energetic. I do think having 2 puppies at a time made it so much easier, and they do seem to really wear off their energy with each other, which is really nice. Part of our hope with the puppies too was that it would be some good responsibility for the girls, and they've really been doing awesome with them. They get up in the morning, take them out and feed them, and they've been working on training with them, and they take care of them at night too. So Tom and I have had to do very little. We took them into the vet recently. They're 7 months already, which just seems wild, and their weight's good. We've had to switch up their food a little bit just because they were scratching a lot and stuff. So we seem to have that kind of dialed in now, and that's going well. So I don't know, I think it's been really fun having them around, and I'm glad that the kids are gonna grow up having puppies around or dogs around. And what's the plan with the excursion?
Oh, we're selling that sucker in a heartbeat. Bye-bye, excursion. For real this time.
Catch you later.
No looking back. She gone.
Yeah. And no, we won't sell it to any of you.
No, we love you more than that.
We don't want to pass on any. I mean, we don't think there's imminent problems with it, but
You never know
long
when
term,
selling something
how do you
used.
know, right? Yeah, it's
So-
we just have too many bad memories with it, I think. 'Cause- yeah, so that'll get listed for sale here pretty soon. Needs to get cleaned up and probably a few things you'll do to it, but otherwise,
Yep.
yeah. So it'll be gone.
Yes. And we'll be very happy when it drives away.
Yes. All right, so thanks for joining us if you made it this far. But we hope that you have a great weekend. We hope all your travels go smoothly and your projects too. But we love you and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Bye-bye.